You ever hear the sound of a mountain warning you to run? Not thunder, not wind, I mean the sound of the earth itself groaning like something deep under your feet finally had enough. That's the sound I heard last week standing on my own family's hillside just before a row of brand new HOA townhomes started sliding down like toy blocks on a greased slide. And you want to know the kicker? By sunrise, they blame me. $10 million in damages, cars swallowed, rooftops crumpled, and somehow it was my fault. Because sure, apparently I'm the guy who pulls mountains down with his bare hands. Let me back up a sec. Because folks talk about family land like it's a swing set and a rusty shed. Ours, 40 acres of stubborn, ancient hillside laced with granite junipers and these sneaky water veins that twist around beneath the ground. My dad used to say the mountain was alive. Treat it with respect like a tired old bull. Don't poke it. He learned that in '74 when half his logging road vanished in a slide. I was a kid cowering in the cabin listening to the earth eat trees and rocks. Dad, he never forgot. Measured soil dug test pits mapped every crack and vein. Hundreds of pages of warnings stuffed into notebooks the county never bothered to read. When he died, it all came to me. I didn't touch the land, didn't build. Just kept the cabin standing, walked the ridges with my coffee, fixed the fence when elk busted it, cleared brush for fire safety. That was enough. And life would have stayed quiet if not for Highland Bluff's HOA. Their expansion showed up as a glossy flyer on my mailbox, luxury townhomes coming soon, with a watercolor sketch right over my south slope. I actually laughed, thought they just drew the lines wrong. HOAs, full of folks who think they're land barons because their petunias once won yard of the month. Still, curiosity got me. So I strolled down to their entrance, big polished stone sign, uplighting the whole look at us production. And that's where I met Karen Maddox. I swear her haircut didn't move in a hurricane and her sunglasses could stop a riot. First thing out of her mouth, "Sir, you can't park your truck here. This is HOA property." I looked at the empty dirt road. Looked at her. Said, "Ma'am, this is my driveway." She huffed so hard I thought she'd choke. "Impossible." "Our expansion survey marks this road for Highland Bluffs." I pulled out my deed, showed her. "Your survey's wrong." Her lips about disappeared. That was the start. A week later, stakes popped up on my hill orange tape, fluttering like they'd conquered Everest. I followed the line all the way up, found 2 surveyors. Just following HOA orders, they muttered. "Orders don't beat ownership." I shot back. They didn't argue, packed up and left. But the lines stayed. So I made my move. Sent the HOA a polite, clear email maps, legal property lines, even a scanned copy of Dad's deed. Walked a packet over in person. Karen pinched it between 2 fingers like I'd coughed on it. "We'll have our legal team review this." Turned out their legal team was a retired divorce lawyer named Bert, probably hadn't seen a survey map in his life. Then the construction circus arrived. Bulldozers, dump trucks, guys with wraparound sunglasses. The foreman, Chad Goatee, looked like it was glued on, waved me off. "Sir, you can't be here." "Active job site," I yelled over the engines. "You're trespassing." He just smirked. "Not according to the HOA. That's when I lost my patience. "You don't own an inch of this hillside. Shut down or someone's going to get hurt." Instead, they called HOA security. 2 dads and matching windbreakers who threatened to fine me for interfering on my own land. I actually laughed. Go ahead, add it to your pile of illegal nonsense. That night I sent formal warnings everywhere, the county, the HOA, even Chad. Dad's notebooks, photos of the 74 slide, geotechnical notes, everything. County said received. HOA said your materials are unsubstantiated. That was their answer to 40 years of warnings. The real escalation, I came home and found a 10-foot fence locked tight, cutting straight across a path I'd walked since I was 6. A text from an unknown number: "Tampering with HOA property will result in legal consequences. You have been warned. HOA property on my land." At that point, I realized this wasn't ignorance. This was arrogance with a badge. So I hired Frank, an old surveyor who knew every inch of the county. Drones, markers, county maps. They're deep into your land, he told me, shaking his head. This wasn't a mistake. They cooked their overlay, printed everything. Needed ammo for the war that was clearly coming. HOA declared Frank's survey invalid. Not on their approved list. I got a thick envelope full of legalese accusing me of obstructing community progress and spreading misinformation. I replied, "If you keep building, you'll be fully liable for what happens next." They ignored it. Of course. They started digging trenches, building retaining walls, hauling in dirt. Every morning, more trucks, more noise, more attitude. I stood on my porch, coffee in hand, watched them punch holes in a hill that's already eaten 2 generations of trucks. All soil instability concerns have been addressed, Chad told me. I asked who did the assessment. Some firm HOA brought them in, said it's fine. I offered Dad's records. He didn't care. Over weeks, I watched them cut corners. One day, I overheard a worker arguing, "We're supposed to use reinforced concrete. Where's the steel?" Chad barked. "Cut costs. Pour it as is." I emailed the county again with photos, video, audio. Their answer, "We're reviewing permits." Translation, "Good luck, you're on your own." HOA amped up their patrols, 2 security guys who filmed me for trespassing on my own property. When the first hairline cracks showed up in the dirt, I knew. Seen it with Dad in '74. When the earth starts cracking before rain season, the mountain's getting ready to move. I took pictures, marched straight into the HOA office. Karen didn't look up. "We've already consulted experts," she said. "What experts?" I pressed. "Not your concern." She wouldn't name a single one. I said, "Frank's survey shows you're 40 feet over the line." She just smiled. "You're making this difficult." I said, "No, I'm trying to keep people safe. That hill is unstable." She suggested I was jealous. Greed, she called it. I couldn't help but laugh. "Greed? I've lived here my whole life. I own this hill. You're the ones trying to steal it." She didn't even blink. "This will be our final conversation." "Sure." Then it started raining, not much, but enough. The fissures widened, driveways tilted, garage doors wouldn't close. Chad pasted the same line on every complaint, minor settling as normal. The site is safe. Safe. They loved that word. The mountain didn't care. The first real storm hit one night, lightning, cracking wind, howling rain soaking everything. I felt the ground under my boots shiver, saw a fresh crack snaking under the new foundations. Tried calling HOA emergency. No answer. Karen straight to voicemail. So I filmed it all. Every crack, every groan. By morning, the damage was clear. Retaining wall-bowed slabs, tilting concrete spider-webbed. But the crew just showed up like nothing happened. Chad shouting, "Let's brace the south wall." I tried to warn him. "You can't reinforce a sinkhole." He laughed, said, "Your father wasn't an engineer." "No," I replied. "But he survived 2 slides and knew this mountain better than anyone." He laughed in my face. Old man superstition, I almost lost it. I dug through Dad's footlocker, found his old binder, South Face Land Notes 1968-1990. His sketches matched the cracks exactly. Warnings, all of them signed, dated, notarized. I brought them to the county office in person, demanded a meeting. Supervisor Grant, exhausted, finally listened. "They forged their survey," I said, "and my father's notes prove it." He frowned. "I'll send someone." Next morning, a geotech inspector came out. Radar pressure sensors, the works. After 2 hours, he admitted, "You're right. Slope's unstable. The HOA's building on your land. County issued a stop work order at noon." Karen went ballistic. Chad stomped around like he'd lost his favorite toy. That night I saw headlights trucks sneaking up the ridge, guys reinforcing the wall in the dark. I filmed everything, sent it to the county. And wouldn't you know it, the next morning, Karen sent me an urgent trespass notice, accusing me of sabotaging their precious wall. She even staged photos. I marched to her office. "You called the cops?" "Yes," she said coldly. "I have video," I replied. Her mask slipped for a second. She didn't like that. The rain started up again, ground-soaked cracks everywhere. I set up cameras along the slope, live-streamed everything. That's when the mountain started to whisper a deep rumble under my boots. The slide wasn't coming. It was starting. By the time I made it to the construction site, the wall was bulging, concrete snapping. Workers scrambled. One almost got taken out by flying rebar. The first townhouse slab dropped a foot, windows shattered. Still, HOA blamed me. I called 911. "The hillside is collapsing. Evacuate now." The dispatcher hesitated. HOA had poisoned the well, but the background screaming helped. Deputy Harper arrived, an old friend. "Got a call from the HOA. They're accusing you of harassment." "I'm trying to stop a disaster," I said. "You know my dad's history." He nodded. "I'll stick around." Minutes later, the mountain let go. The retaining wall exploded, mud pouring down 3 slabs, fractured, a $10 million disaster in motion. Karen arrived drenched, wild-eyed. "This is your doing," she screamed. "I told her, I warned you a dozen times." She shrieked, "You threatened us." I just stared. "You think I caused a landslide with bad attitude?" Deputy Harper stepped in, tried to calm her, but the ground was still moving. A second slide took out more foundations. Karen nearly got herself buried. I had to yank her away. News crews arrived. Karen went on TV, claimed I sabotaged the site. "He warned us it would happen. That's premeditation." I laughed. "You mean I predicted a landslide because I know my own land?" At the sheriff's office, Harper took my statement. I showed him everything: video, dad's notes, the forged surveys. Supervisor Grant confirmed it. The HOA's actions accelerated the slide. Their permit is fake. Their surveyor retired 10 years ago. In front of everyone, he suspended the entire HOA board. Karen lost it. Chad tried to run. Board members went pale. For the first time in months, I felt the weight lift a little. The county found more evidence the HOA had planned to build over the entire south face, all based on a fake map. They even tried to phase out my property line so no one would notice. But the real twist, they found an old letter from my dad preserved in the county archive, a formal request to protect the south face as a historic natural zone. It was legally protected. HOA never had the right to touch it. Not ever. Over the next weeks, the HOA was dissolved, the board indicted. The townhomes ruined, lawsuits flying. But the mountain, for the first time in years, was quiet. I walked the ridge at sunset, boots crunching over the new scars. Found an old metal stake with Dad's name etched in it. "Thanks," I whispered to him, "to the land, to the truth." And I decided right then this place would never be threatened again. Turned the south face into a conservation area, put up signs and benches, told the real story on a plaque by the trail. Even some former HOA folks came by to apologize. So that's the lesson. If you're still here, respect the ground you walk on. Paperwork can't outvote geology, and arrogance is no match for a mountain with a memory. Before you go, tell me, what's the toughest fight you've had with impossible people or impossible odds? Was justice on your side, or did you have to become the mountain? Drop your story in the comments. And hey, if you want more tales where nature wins and the truth finally comes out, hit subscribe. You never know when the ground under your feet might have a story of its own.